MetalmanX here. When Zero Gravity released The Judge a little over 2 years ago, it really took the gunpla community by storm and created a series of events where independent releases would become just as well respected as their Bandai counterparts. Since its release, we've seen numerous companies continue what Zero Gravity has started. So let's take a look at this iconic kit and see if it really is the Bandai killer. And as always, I got this kit over at Gundam Central. Make sure you check them out, the link will be in the description. They are my go-to place for third-party kits and independent mecha releases. So when this kit first released, it was very, very revolutionary because no one really thought that a independent company could create something that was not just on par with Bandai high resolution model kits, but in a lot of ways surpassed them. So we're going to take a look at this kit a couple years later because really this kit's history has affected the whole industry. And so we're seeing a lot more companies take the leap to make their own kits. Starting off with the head. We got some movement. It's pretty limited, but it looks good. Now, this is based off of the Forbidden Gundam, and this is a unique head sculpt to the Zero Gravity. But this part here can easily be removed, and it's actually hidden here behind the butt flap. Change it into a Gundam head. I really do like the head sculpt on this. They did a really good job. Lots of light piping opportunities. This comes with pre-painted eyes, but you also have the option of using clear green. Now, one warning about the clear green plastic on this kit. I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. The plastic quality overall for this kit is really, really good. It is fantastic plastic quality outside of the clear green parts. These are extremely brittle. So they look awesome, but they are extremely brittle. So be very, very, very careful with the clear green parts on this kit. The biggest issue with that is they decided to make the action base, not the full action base, but the stand part out of that clear green plastic. So it does, I've already actually broken the stand. Actually, now I look at it, so this is really brittle plastic. I'm not a fan of the clear green plastic on this kit. So be cautious when using it. Anyway, moving on to the rest of the kit. We have a lot of good articulation here in the arms. This is a metal build kit. It does have some in and out motion. It's fairly stiff though, so I would probably be careful with that aspect. But it does have some good articulation in the arms. Get a pretty sizable raise there. You have some good articulation in the waist, side to side. You can do 360. We do have some articulation here in the front skirts, but it's really tight on there. And yeah, there we go. So you really have to get in there. It's acting like it doesn't want to, and I'm not going to force it right now. So one of the big issues with this kit is that there are some tight joints and some that just pop off all the time. So we do have some issues there with the side skirting. Those are going to fall off quite a bit. Big butt flap. And this is where the stand connects. You don't use the stand. You can use this little piece in there, but be careful. Once it's in there, it's pretty difficult to get back out. Okay, on the legs, we have some good forward, good back, and we have a bend at the knee. Some issues with this kit, aside from the green plastic, is the weight itself. The legs are rather heavy, and this actually causes a very loose joint right here. Whenever it's standing up, this tends to begin sag and can fall off. So keep in mind that that is a possibility. You may want to try to tighten up that peg by putting some paint inside there a little bit, but I don't know how well that would work. Another issue is with the wrist. I really hate them. The design has it where the arm guard goes over this wrist joint and it just slots in. So the issue with that is whenever you are posing the kit and you're trying to pose this part, it starts to move forward and it'll pop off your hands. And this does make the kit pretty hard to pose right here. So this is a bit of a pain. But if you take your time, you'll be able to move it around and get the pose you want. But overall, for articulation, I think this has really good posability. I think it is well up there with some of the other high resolution models as far as posability. And the color separation on the armor just is fantastic. So you do get quite a bit of extra pieces in here, especially the A runners. So you could replace a lot of this white with some darker colors if you want. The build was really smooth on this section of the kit. Several pieces were undergated, lots of undergating. However, there was a lot of cleanup I did have to do. Overall, I think they did a great job at hiding any kind of nubs that would have been visible. And with cleanup, it looks just amazing. So I'm going to move on to some of the accessories for the kits. Now, the iconic weapon of the judge is the scythe. Now, unlike the original release, we do have an extra scythe. So we have all the parts to make two. So that is one advantage of the Moonlight version. So this weapon can be held. It does balance in. Again, when you're posing, this is going to drive you nuts trying to get these to stand. The hands themselves, you can slide it in. You have to squish it. These were a bit of a pain to build, and there were some errors in the manual. I believe it was the first set of hands. They had the numbers flip-flopped. So make sure to check. There were a few errors in the manual on the backpack and accessories especially. But this can be held. It will have to kind of be balanced to get the pose you want, and the thumbs, make sure they're aligned correctly. But it does hold its own weapons, and a lot of that is to do with what the staff is made of. We do have a long metal staff here that really helps with that. There are plastic ones actually in the runners, but there is no way they would be able to support this weapon. So it can be taken apart into different sections. So you can just have kind of a scythe version. And these can actually be used independently. This one has a bit of a fitting issue. You might have to sand down a little bit, but I didn't do that because I wanted to be able to keep it in the main weapon. So they simply just attach through a little pressure latch like that. Now, independently, these do fit with different beam effects. Now, A big issue with using this one by itself, it looks really cool, except it's not really held on by anything. It looks like it's supposed to be a pressure fit, and I've done everything I can. This thing's absolutely flush. There's 2 pieces actually that press together here, and everything's just absolutely flush. I can't get it any tighter, and there's nothing happening there. It is just falling right off. You may want to use some ticky tack or something like that if you're desperate to have it in a pose with this, but honestly, it's not gonna stay. So you'll have to do something for that. Then we have the, I don't know what they call it, I'm gonna call it the axe blade. And it fits on the Sotheby style energy. And then you can, you'll plug it in, and there'll be a couple other pieces that you can plug in. Be careful with these, because the first time I tried to take it off in order to get it ready for the review, this thing just cracked almost immediately. So once again, this green plastic is very, very brittle. So we gotta be very careful. Like, I'm afraid to pull on this. I know it just slides out, but I'm terrified that I'm gonna break this plastic now. Another issue in the manual I didn't know about this until later. The construction of the handle pieces. You need to flip those pieces around. It has one side going in on his side and another side going on that way, and they don't actually fit really well like that. So what you need to do is flip that instruction around with the handle pieces. Otherwise, you're gonna have a hard time getting this thing together, and I did have a lot of trouble with this piece in particular. So moving on to the backpack. So we have a really cool backpack here with, like I said, this was a kit in and of itself, and it's gorgeous looking. The color separation, the gold, I do like that this has a sliding gimmick built into it, so it takes some of that off of the backpack. Overall, it holds everything really well. There are a couple of ways that you can use the shoulder pieces. You can have them in as kind of, you know, a wing style, maybe I should say more like a freedom style configuration. So there's lots of movement. I'm a little worried every time I try to turn it. If you don't brace it there at the bottom, it feels like it's gonna pop everything apart. You can move these and get lots of different poses out of here. There's also another little weapon right here that has some motion and some joints and can be moved around. And it looks like a kind of a grapple thing. I'm not too familiar with Seed and Seed Destiny as I probably should be, but it does look cool. I really do like it. The overall construction of the backpack really took just as long as the main kit. It's really detailed. Every aspect of it is very detailed. I like how this came out. Now, another way you can do this, and I do suggest probably taking pieces off. You can use this to do the Forbidden Gundam's big cannon thing. So this also turns all the way 360, so you can get all sorts of different versions of it. I think that's most accurate, I believe. And so you can have these big cannons on the backpack as well. And you can raise these up. There's some articulation there. overall, I think they did a really good job. These gold pieces are a pain, but really, I think they did a good job in their design. Now, the backpack attaches using these little square pegs that are able to move, and this part's able to move, and it makes getting the backpack a bit of a pain, honestly. You gotta line it up just right. So I definitely suggest putting the backpack on without these on, and once you get it on there, never take it off again. Yeah. So the kit the backpack's so heavy. I mean, you almost have to rely on the stand. And oh, I got it. Nobody move, nobody breathe. All right. So you almost have to rely on the stand with this kit. It's just going to be how it is. So be careful with the stand. Like I said, I've already broke my stand. Way to go, me. And just be careful with it in general. One quick note about the Judge is it doesn't come with a guide for the water slide decals. The water slide decals are of really good quality, but not having that guide did make it hard. I did find a placement guide on Reddit. I'll post the link in the description as well. So how would I rate this kit? Overall, Zero Gravity did a fantastic job in creating this kit. The details are amazing. There's so much articulation in this kit, sometimes even to a bit of a detriment, especially on the backpack because of the weight. But overall, I think this is a fantastic kit. I'm going to give it a B- though. While I would definitely suggest you getting this kit, it has a lot of flaws that have really brought it down, and it's been surpassed. And that's the thing. Was this the Bandai killer? In a way, yes, because it brought independent companies to the forefront and the minds of model makers. So in a way, the Zero Gravity Judge started a revolution that became the Bandai killer. So I think this is a really great, not only a really great kit to build, but it's almost like a piece of model history. And that's going to do it for my review of the Zero Gravity Judge. Thank you guys for all the support that I've gotten recently, and I look forward to seeing you next time here on MetalmanX Builds.